Life with Louella. Written and illustrated by Margaret Franklin. This week's episode, A New Arrival. Once again, Louella Snuggle Bunny was babysitting for her friends Norton and Vivian. As usual, Carmichael fell asleep in her lap as they watched the late show together. She carefully carried him back to his room, but hated to miss the action on the screen. It was a good, mushy, romantic love story. Louella sat back down in front of the TV when the phone rang. It was Vivian. "Louella," she said, "I'm afraid we won't be able to make it back home tonight. The snowstorm is so bad out there, we decided to stay at a motel." "No problem," said Louella. "Well, gotta go," said Vivian. "We're watching a good, mushy, romantic love story on TV." The next morning, Carmichael woke up crying. "Me, I got your monster ate Kermit the Frog," he wailed. "No, he didn't," said Louella. "You were only dreaming." "See? Kermit's okay," said Louella as they watched Sesame Street together. Carmichael started crying all over again. "Now what's wrong?" "It's a rerun," Carmichael sobbed. "We're back. Let the bells ring and the banners fly," exclaimed Vivian and Norton as they came in. "Quick, get me to a comfortable chair," gasped Vivian. "What's that?" asked Carmichael, eyeing the large, roundish, white object his mother was sitting on. "It's an egg," she replied. "What's an egg?" he asked. Well, replied Vivian, "there might be a new baby brother or sister inside it." "I want to see the baby," he exclaimed. "You can't. We have to wait for her to hatch," Vivian explained to him. "These things take time." "How did it get in there?" Carmichael asked. Norton brought out a book called How Babies Are Made and read it to Carmichael. "Well," he said, "unfortunately, this book is about people, not ducks, so there are a few things different. At least human mothers are lucky. They don't have to sit on eggs all the time like your mother." For the next few days to follow, Carmichael talked endlessly about his favorite subject to anyone and everyone within earshot. He sat next to a pregnant woman on the bus. "I know what's in there and what you've been doing," he said as he pointed to her stomach. She got up to change seats, but Carmichael continued to natter on incessantly. "Really," said the little old lady sitting next to Norton, "do you think it's so wise for your son to know so much at such an early age? In my day they told us about the stork." "When the new baby comes, she'll sleep in your old crib," explained Norton. "Now that you're a big boy, you can sleep in a new bed of your own." "Yippee!" shouted Carmichael, jumping on the bed. "However," explained Norton, "you won't have your big boy new bed very much longer if you keep jumping on it." For the first couple nights, Carmichael kept falling out of his new bed, so Norton and Vivian solved the problem by placing chairs on each side. However, the next morning they always found him curled up in one of the chairs. "You know something, Vivian," said Norton, "we'd have saved up a lot of money if we knew ahead of time that he'd rather sleep in a chair." "It's just a phase," Vivian shook her head. "You'll get used to it." It wasn't long until the magical day arrived. As the egg hatched, Norton captured the event with his camcorder. "It's a girl!" exclaimed Vivian. "Peep, peep, peep!" cried the little duckling. They had already decided on a name for her. Norton liked Rachel, and Vivian liked Marie, so they called her Ramy, which is a combination of both names. Carmichael stood around feeling rather left out. "Where do you think you're going with that box?" asked Vivian. "I'm mailing it to Cucamonga," replied Carmichael. "Got any stamps, Mom?" Just then Ramy burst out the top of the box. "Nice try," chuckled Vivian. "We don't go mailing family members off to Cucamonga in this household." A few days later, Vivian found Ramy covered with trading stamps. "I thought I'd trade her in for a two-wheeler," Carmichael replied sheepishly. For a while, Carmichael even refused to eat. Vivian frantically took him to every doctor in town, but they all said the same thing. Don't worry about him. He'll eat when he's hungry. One even suggested preparing his favorite foods. So that evening, Vivian cooked a wonderful dish of macaroni and tomatoes just the way he liked them, crunchy golden brown on top, with lots of gooey cheese. She placed a plateful of the mouth-watering concoction before him, and sat down at the table to give Raymie her bottle. "No macaroni and tomatoes," said Carmichael. "Want cereal." "Whatever turneth thy crank, dude," sighed Norton irritably, as he poured Carmichael a bowl of cereal. "No eat, no eat," cried Carmichael. Norton was furious. "That does it. If you won't eat it, I'll make you wear it." Norton carried Carmichael up to the bathroom and stood him in the tub. "I won't stand for this poppycock," he stammered, as he dumped the bowl of cereal over Carmichael's head. Carmichael screamed loudly. For the next few days, "Eat it or wear it" was Carmichael's favorite saying. The family went out to a Chinese restaurant. "Eat it or wear it," sang Carmichael as he raised his plate of chop suey, chow mein, and mugu gai pan high above his head. Splat! It was hard not to laugh, because the naughty little duckling looked pretty funny with bean sprouts dripping down his beak. Little boys don't hit babies with socks. Little boys don't hit babies with socks, Carmichael repeated to himself, standing on a chair next to Raymie's crib. "Son," said Vivian, "I'd like to have a word with you." Vivian sat Carmichael on her lap and held him close. "I understand you're probably a bit jealous of your new baby sister," she said. "But you must know, Carmichael, we don't love you any less, but every little bit as much."